All right, there we go. We're ready to fly. It's Michael Knight, New York. Vinnie, a little late, but better late than never, as they say. He's Michael Knight. I'm New York Vinnie. He's in Pasadena. I'm in Seattle. Good morning, Michael Knight. How the hell are you?
It's a freaky Fractures Friday, Vinny, and I'm full of it.
Good.
And good morning to you and to all our viewers.
For these scads of people who are spending a few minutes with us this morning, I got a bunch of comments about that Marco video that we showed on Wednesday.
Well done. Extraordinary.
That was good. That was good. Those people have a bunch of videos. I was kind of going through their catalog. They have a ton of stuff on YouTube. And
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, a decidedly anti-Trump point of view. And why not? Why would you be for Trump at this moment? Why would you, except for this guy being the president of the United States, and you having a respect for that office?
Well, you got to be on his team if you love wars that begin with no focus, no goals, nobody in charge, and wars that don't take into consideration the little place on the planet that we all know about now called the Strait of Hormuz.
Hormuz! The Strait of Hormuz!
What were you guys thinking about when you drove by the Strait of Hormuz and it was open and you just figured, well, that we don't have to worry about that. Next case.
Well, we stopped. We saw the straits are open, so we stopped. We got a root beer and a couple of Wally burgers and stood up on the cliffs there and watched the ships not go through. And it's like we have our own train set. You know, we have a set of ships that are in the big bathtub called the Strait of Hormuz.
They're not going anywhere.
And they're not going anywhere. We're dividing them up. We're saying which ones are we going to drag into port? Which ones are we going to blow up next?
And this, Vinny, is why so many people are pissed off at Donald Trump in the world of national leaders. They did nothing to encourage this war. They did nothing to participate in this war. But because Trump has choked off the financial connections internationally because of the Strait of Hormuz being shut, nothing's getting through. Nothing's going to Australia. Nothing's going to China. Nothing's going to the Philippines. Nothing's going to Southeast Asia. Nothing goes through. Everybody's story has been upturned. Everybody's wheelbarrow is on the ground. Everybody's story is changed because of the idiocy of Donald Trump and the military advisors who figured, well, this is my last chance for a war in the Middle East. I don't want to miss it. Everybody else got a war in the Middle East. Why can't I? I'm a general. I should have a war. I should be part of this.
Do you really think that that's what happened? Because I know you said that a bunch of times.
Nobody's given this guy the truth. Nobody's given this guy advice. Nobody's given this guy the right way. If it's costing us $2 billion a day to fight this war that we're not in, that we're not taking part in, I'd like to know who's advising them, who's in charge of the military, who actually pushes the button when Trump says we're going to shoot him up tonight.
Well, see, and
I'd say I'd some twerp from West Point.
Well, I'm much more of the opinion that he's doing this. I mean, obviously, these guys are going to follow orders. That's the way they're trained. That's the way they do things. That's the way that it goes.
But when you get to the top, you have to take something into consideration in terms of what's right and what's wrong and what's sufficient and what's the way to proceed. We don't want to hit into a double play, so we got to do what? Well, you got to hit to the opposite field. You got to put somebody up there.
But I'm just not sure that anybody is advising him to do this. I just still get in my gut that this is something that he's doing. The only one, I take that back. Hegseth is probably telling him to go ahead and do it.
But how many guys work in the Pentagon? How many people have a job that requires them to put on a uniform in the morning and go to work in the Pentagon?
This is an organization that you are told it's ingrained in you from day one to follow orders. that you get orders from here, and he is the commander in chief. And whether you agree with him or disagree with him, you are ingrained to follow those orders. Now, I think if he were to say, shoot some nuclear weapons, rockets at Iran and wipe them off the face of the earth, that may be a point where somebody...
You mean maybe, but not entirely certain that they wouldn't just say, well, he wanted us to do it, so we fried the planet. It seemed like the best opportunity to do it. Everybody else gets the chance to drop a nuclear weapon. I haven't, so this is my opportunity.
Everybody hasn't gotten a chance to drop a nuclear weapon. There's only been one guy who's gotten a chance to drop a nuclear weapon, and that was Truman. So nobody else has dropped one since then. So I think that if somebody did that, if he were to pick up that phone and make that call, that there would be somebody in the middle of that would intervene and say, wait a second, let's sit back a second. I would hope. I think the same hesitation and attention to detail before acting should be part of the discussion in this war, which is upset the economic balance of the planet. And there's no way out. There's no way through this. There's no exit that's available for it. There should be, but as we have seen...
Well, not if these sons of bitches are just going to take orders blindly and do what he wants and buck us into the wherewithal. But they cannot be reversed.
It's ingrained in their minds not to question orders. It's ingrained in their mind that you follow the order that comes from your superior. That's how the military has to work. If it doesn't work like that, it's you got a mutiny on your hands. You got you can't have everybody saying, "Well, I don't like that order, so I'm not going to do it."
You can't have it making sense. You can't have anybody question it.
Armies and navies and everything. Killing hundreds of thousands of people rarely makes sense, if ever. But in my opinion, I'm not a military strategist. I don't know. I listen to these generals that used to be generals that are on different stations and write opinion pieces.
Does Fox have the general that says this is just the way we should be proceeding?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what Fox has. I can't watch Fox.
I can't watch Fox either, but they must have a general who says this is the way to go. We're absolutely, this is another day of absolute victory.
Listen, there are people that do think that this is the way to go. I mean, there are generals. There are some generals, I'm sure, that think, and there's a lot of Americans that think
now we have the results. We have the results of that calculation and that advice and that precision.
Yeah, there are people who think that this is the way to go. That we should wipe Iran off the face of the earth, blow them to smithereens, and make it a parking lot. And you've heard that since the 70s. You've heard that since 1979.
Well, how's that going for them?
Well, it's not going well for them.
It's not.
It's not going well for either side.
And who among those generals ever mentioned the Strait of Hormuz? Now you see, there's a squeak point here. It's a tiny little strait. There's nothing going on there today. But if Iran closes it, no oil gets to the eastern part of the world.
Well,
no fertilizer gets to the Middle East. The Midwest. We haven't pulled the results on that one yet. Try to feed the world, us first, but the world afterwards, with no fertilizer for the foreseeable future. There's none that's come through.
I just think that this is a Trump thing, not a bunch of generals sitting around a table and saying we ought to do this. And the generals are basically following orders, doing what he says to do, because that's what they're charged. That's what their idea is to do. But you talk to any of these guys, excuse me, who aren't generals anymore, who have quit or been fired or whatever, and they are. I haven't seen many of them that think that this whole Iran thing is a good idea. None of them. I haven't seen one. I'm sure there are some out there, and I'm sure
somebody could have raised his hand and just said, we've tried the war in the Middle East how many times? Does
but
anybody
Trump
remember?
isn't going to listen to that. Trump does what he wants to do. He's not going to listen to his generals. He's not going to listen to his advisors.
How many documentaries on World War II do you have to see before you see the generals of the Wehrmacht standing around the table, pointing at something, and Hitler says, "No, we're not going that way. We're going this way. We're right outside of Moscow. Let's go to Ukraine and across the steppes of Russia. We'll take a right turn. We'll divide my forces."
And what happened to Hitler? He fried himself in a bunker. So
and those generals got their necks stretched.
And listen, there isn't nothing to say that the same thing might not happen here. There isn't anything to say that we're careening toward a similar fate. But again, I was only following orders.
Which turned out to be a defense that did not shake the resolve of the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah.
You were following orders, but you knew the order was wrong, and you knew that the end result was going to be death on an industrial scale. You knew that you were sending your soldiers to certain death in the Russian winter. You did it anyway. Why? I was just following orders. I didn't want to do it, but
Well, but
you weren't there.
That it seems to me to be that's the way that type of mind works. I don't know. I haven't been in that situation. I've never been in the Army or the Navy or any kind of military service, so I don't know. But the people I know that have, and the people that I see and write and read about,
it only
that's the way it goes.
You will follow the order, period.
You will follow the orders. And if you don't, you can get your neck stretched too by our side. So really, if you think about it, you're kind of fucked if you do and fucked if you don't.
And when you're dead, we'll just put another Shamil in there with birds on his shoulders, and he'll do what we tell him. All his training, all his advancement, all the times that he was passed over or recognized for promotion, all means nothing because his experience is never put to use, his advice is never listened to, and he just follows orders like a private.
Well, what would you say a general, if the president of the United States says to you, you are to attack this place at this time, what would you do? You tell him no?
You just say, well, it's going to take us a little while to prepare. We don't have forces in place to do everything you want to do now. We can't do it today. We can't do it tomorrow. But if we prepare ourselves, you can have what you want. You can have the end result by doing it this way.
Well,
now maybe they haven't got the balls to talk to Trump that way. Probably.
Well, I think that now you might have hit the nail on the head. Now you might have something.
This is going to be a lot easier if I just fuck it up.
Just like the senators or the congressmen or the cabinet members or anybody else that's in this guy's employ.
Exactly.
They just don't have the balls to say to him, this is a
work.
really, really, really bad idea. Because when they do say something like that, then it seems that they get fired.
They find work elsewhere.
In anything. Well, where do you find work elsewhere if you're a general and all the TV stations are filled up with generals already? All these fired generals. I mean, once you're a general, what's your career path if you get dismissed, if you get fired, if you get Hegseth comes in your office and says, clear it out in 10 minutes?
It looks like you may have a job on the board somewhere.
You better hope you got something. You better hope that and you can't go to work for a defense contractor because there's a law now that says you can't do that for a certain amount of time. So, I mean, again, I haven't been in that situation, but it seems to me that there's a lot of people, and this is why this is a clear sign that this is a cult. But again, you can't have people who are going to say, unless you are willing to say that Donald Trump is insane,
25th
that
Amendment.
he's mentally incompetent, that he doesn't know what he's doing.
I think we have some proof of that.
Well, yeah, but again, nobody with the balls enough to do it.
Nobody in the Islamic Republic of Japan willing to do it.
Nobody in the Islamic Republic of Japan. What the fuck?
You can't make this shit up, folks.
The Islamic Republic of Japan.
So I have a little song called "The Strait of Hormuz." It's going to be a hit.
It is unbelievable. I mean the stuff that goes on. Even if you just took this week and laid it out there.
Like the security that the Secret Service said they wanted to put into place because there was a threat in Trump's life. That's not surprising. What's surprising is he was upset that he had to take old Air Force One, which had all the equipment on it to allow it to be the flying White House. And he took the empty plane that he got from the ragheads in Qatar, who gave him a $400 million plane for a gift. And he flew that one along too. Was there anybody in that plane? Was that empty? Or did he put the press on that plane?
I think he did. Yeah, I think they go with him. Whichever plane he goes on, they go on, right?
So who was in the new Air Force One?
The new one, I guess,
he took along just for show
to England because it was previously scheduled, they said, to be put on display for the U.S. military to tour. You know what? Get better writers.
Sergeant.
Your writers aren't even as good as Buddy Sorrell and Sally Rogers, okay? Your writers aren't even that good. Come up, get it better excuse makers than that.
We wanted the troops in Germany to have a chance to see the new Air Force One.
Yeah, are you fucking kidding me or what with this? We were thinking about the troops. We wanted them to see the plane.
They test this stuff on Eric. If Eric believes it, anybody will believe it.
You know, I don't know what I'm more upset about, that they continue to get away with the lies or that there's 30% of the American public that believe this shit. That there's 30%
that's how we got in
the public that's
how we got in this fix.
Look at this and think that this guy is right.
The funny thing is, we all know somebody who still loves and supports Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we all know something else about them. Since Trump came along, they haven't been quite right.
I got a guy that sends me 5 things a day about how great Trump is. Yeah. 5 messages a day. And, you know, it's strange because I respect the guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's been brainwashed. I think he's fallen for this stuff, hook, line, and sinker. I thought he was more intelligent than that.
He's got some problems.
He's a kook. So, I mean, I think that is, you know, that's.
So he doesn't have just one problem. He has multiple problems.
Yeah, he's got a few things going on. But he sends me stuff all day. And I've even said to him, don't waste your time sending it to me. Send it to somebody who you might somehow be able to convince, which is nobody I know. But he keeps sending it. I don't know what his goal is. Does he think I'm going to one day look at something that he sends to me and going to say, boy, you know, I was really wrong about Donald Trump? No.
I think I was wrong, too. He was far more, I knew he was dangerous, but he was far more dangerous. I remember when Trump got elected, and I was sitting at home in my apartment in Wenatchee, Washington, watching television, and the whole unraveling of the influence of Russia in the election was being discussed. And I just had a cold chill in the pit of my stomach. I said, this is not going to go well. This is not right. This man's influence, this man's friends, this man's idols are all wrong. Everything about this guy is backwards and upside down and dangerous and murderous. They killed another innocent person yesterday. Troops of the ICE persuasion in Chicago, on the streets, unmarked vehicles, shooting up people.
No, in Houston it was.
Correct. I stand corrected.
Yeah, it was in Houston. The
Which is an open carry state. Can't anybody fire back at these guys?
the feds have killed or shot. I don't know if they've killed them all, but they've shot in their own cars. These are people in their own cars. 21 people since last year.
And there's no charge. It's absolutely free. It's a service the
5
government
have died,
provides.
3 U.S. citizens, and he was the guy in Houston who was a longtime resident of Houston. His family,
no criminal record,
is here. Was the 21st since Trump has taken office in 25. 5 people, including 3 U.S. citizens, have been killed as a result of those shootings. Nearly all, have been involved officers firing at people in vehicles. With Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, I think that's how you say it, being the latest. But again, Houston, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Manahawkin, New Jersey, Patterson, California, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, Portland, Minneapolis, Glen Burnie, Maryland. It's all over the place, except you don't see many. I think there was one there, and these are, let's see, St. Paul, Washington, Ontario, California, Tempe, Arizona, L.A., Washington, Chicago, Franklin Park, Illinois, San Bernardino, Colorado Springs, and South Padre Island, Texas. All shootings involving on-duty federal immigration agents that have occurred in the interior of the United States since January 2025.
Coming to a town near you.
The feds say that the guy, the deceased, weaponized his vehicle, which seems to be the standard.
In other words, he was driving in the forward position. He was in drive.
Tried to run over the agent who fired at him. Same language that federal officials have used repeatedly to describe other shootings by immigration agents. In many instances, the initial descriptions, including claims that officers had been assaulted or injured, have unraveled in court.
This is what you're going to say. And here's how you're going to say it. Good luck to you. We got your back.
Conveniently, the officers, if that's what you want to call them, the military, did not provide video camera footage of the encounter because the agents were not wearing video cameras. But there are videos that have been put on social media after the shooting happened. I don't know if there's any footage of the shooting. They had the victim, in handcuffs while he was lying on the ground.
He's easier to shoot that way.
Screaming in pain with bullets in his stomach. That's what they decided was the thing to do here, was to put handcuffs on the guy while he was obviously not going to get up and go anywhere.
He was going to weaponize his car.
The authorities are already calling it an assault on a federal law enforcement officer. Everywhere these people have gone,
somebody dies.
And the enforcement has intensified. So this is what we've become. We've become a country with a squad of goons that
free to travel wherever they want and do whatever they want and take lives as they wish.
We pay them our taxpayer money, our money that gets paid in taxes that goes to these people. So we have one squad that goes and murders Iranians, and we have another squad that wipes out people in this country that don't agree with Donald Trump.
They don't look like Eric and Donald Jr.
I don't, if somebody's here illegally, I don't have a problem with it, with people rounding them up and saying, "Hey, you're not here. You're not here." With under a law, but you can't do it the way they're doing it. If they run faster than you, then you're beat.
They skip everything.
But you can't shoot them.
Shoot them, and we'll talk about it later.
You can't shoot their children. You can't terrorize them. They have rights too. We continue as a society to dehumanize these people
who have no criminal record,
who aren't doing anything. This guy was a construction guy in Houston. He employed people. By all accounts, from everything you can see from this guy, he's another one of these people who, were here. Yeah. Okay. Was he here illegally? Yeah. Did he not conform to the letter of the law? No. But the law, you know what? The law could have been changed a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years ago. But what happened?
And it would have included him in a safe zone.
I don't know that, but Donald Trump said, no, don't pass that law.
In fact, I don't want you to pass it. I want it to be unstable until I get my ICE boys on the street. I got a plan.
Because I got a death squad that I'm going to put together, and we're going to let them out we're going to put them out on the people of color in this country.
Well, death squad's a bit much. They like to be called stormtroopers.
And and again, this is being done in the name of the government. And since in this country we are the government, you're doing that shit in my name. And I don't like it.
The government gets up in the morning and says, "Hello there, you're about to die. But I'm going to work." Well, that's weaponizing your car. Next case.
It's disgusting. And nobody has the nerve to stop it.
What about Kash Patel, the startled nocturnal animal?
What?
Can we count on him to save us from the...
What is he going to do? Here's a guy that can't get out of his own way. This is what happens. You know what?
This is what happens when cousins marry.
This is what happens if you get one of those frat boys that used to stand next to the Coug and piss on the cold sidewalk and watch people trip on the ice that was formed.
Hey, but they're working on their second major. They changed their major. They wouldn't be there if it wasn't for that.
That's where Kash Patel was. Kash was one of those guys that stood on that lawn in front of that frat house. I forget the name of the frat house, but stood in front of that frat house, pissed on the sidewalk, and then watched people walk down that hill, try to walk down that hill, and slip on the ice and fall and hurt themselves. And they would stand on the lawn laughing.
It was your choice
in the freezing cold, drinking beers.
To join the fraternity whose house was next to the Coug. That was your first idea. Was the wrong idea. This looks like a great fraternity. No, wait, it's next to the Coug. Never going to get any sleep.
They'd sit on that fire engine.
We can stand on the wall.
Remember that fire engine that was parked out there? They'd sit on that fire engine.
Yep.
And lucky thing that lucky thing the cell phones weren't invented, weren't perfected to the point they are now, or else we would have had several videos of it. But that's the Kash Patel. That's that guy. Or as the woman who have that podcast like to say, that's that fucking guy. One of my favorite podcasts. The two women who that fucking guy. That's him. That's who he is. He's a frat boy who they stuck in charge of the FBI.
And we've been so lucky that we haven't had any localized terrorism to deal with, because he can't be called upon to protect us.
Meanwhile, good people who have had this country's interest at heart,
get indicted.
Have gotten indicted for putting seashells, for taking a picture of seashells.
Taking a picture of somebody else's work.
And they've been indicted for threatening the president. Well, you know what? The president now has a real threat to deal with.
The boys are after him.
Because they've rolled out a bunch of banners in Tehran.
I mean, they're pretty clear.
We're going to get you.
Kill Donald Trump.
And they have a track record of getting people.
Well, Kash Patel is on the case. He will stop them like any nocturnal.
Donald Trump and I looked and said that Kash Patel was protecting me, I might think about surrounding the White House with troops.
That's what he's changing the color.
I might lock down Washington.
Lock them out. Just lock everybody out till we get the reflecting pool right.
We don't want you to see how government functions.
You can buy your third Air Force One and work on that. That'll be your hobby.
Well, I got two more coming. Boeing is building because the old Air Force Ones were getting long in the tooth. So there's two Air Force Ones being built.
They've entrusted Boeing to protect the president.
Boeing
that's Kash Patel.
This morning, as a matter of fact, they went back and tightened all the windows in the new Air Force One to make sure that they were tight because...
Hell of an idea. I applaud that. I'm sure somebody's thinking those windows were rolled down when they took off.
Yeah, they took the cranks off of the windows so you can't roll them down. But again, here you go. You got because you have to have two Air Force Ones. You now have the president with, and that's
what does J.D. Vance have?
That Air Force One with him and park it at his new international airport. You can't make this shit up, folks.
What about Air Force Two, the one that J.D. Vance has to go into? Does he get a stereo system or tinted windows or anything?
No, he's got an AM radio. He has to listen to hate talk all day.
As he drives over Des Moines.
I don't even think they'll let him in it, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that they will say to him, "Yeah, JD, you can take this one."
But
he's
we don't
too
have a
busy
pilot.
banging his couch anyway.
Probably.
He's too, that waste of a human life. Now you're a Florida. You like Florida. You're a guy that's always talking about having gone to Florida and living in Miami. Are you getting excited about flying into the Donald J. Trump International Airport?
Well, that's West Palm Beach. I don't fly there. You can fly to Miami and drive.
Well, you won't divert your flight to be able to have your ticket stamped with the Donald J. Trump International Airport stamp.
I would suggest you do just the opposite. Don't land there. Divert to San Juan, Puerto Rico, or any other place that you can get to, and just
go to Cuba. You'd be better off.
Take the jitney. If you don't know what a jitney is, you will when you take it.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if they still even have the jitneys in Atlantic City. They used to have the jitneys, um, which were really cool. If you hung out in Atlantic City, you walked, from the boardwalk up to I forget what the first street after the boardwalk, past the boardwalk is, but you'd walk up and it'd be these that they were international metro panel trucks that had seats in them, and they were gray and blue. They looked like New York City ambulances. The old New York City ambulances used to look like these jitneys, and you
Back when the
get in,
cop
and I
cars were
forget how
green and
much it
white.
was a nickel or something like that, and you got in and you could ride up and down whatever street that is. And if you wanted to get off at the White Tower and have a hamburger and then get back on the jitney and go
We can do
further
that.
down, back and forth, you could ride it up and down.
That's
It's a
that's what the world was like when jitneys ruled the roost.
great system of transportation. I thought it was the best. If you would, when I used to go to Atlantic City before I got my driver's license, I used to take the bus from the Port Authority down there, the orange and black line, or the short line. Used to go to Atlantic City or to Wildwood. And so you'd be there. You didn't have a car. You didn't really need a car in Atlantic City, but you didn't have a car. But that was okay because you had the jitneys on that street. And then on the boardwalk had the tram.
Plus, it's
That
better
went
not
up
to take
and
your car
down.
to
No, no,
Atlantic City because
yeah, it was
people
like
who
that
take their car
tram
to
with it.
Atlantic City don't go home with it.
You jump on, you jump off. And then when you were done with your weekend, you were all sunburned. You had met 6, 8, 10 girls from Philadelphia.
Jitney to the
Get back
airport.
on. You made your way over to the bus station and got back on the orange and black and went
Home sweet home. Here I come.
right up to the. I think matter of fact, I don't know if did we go out of the Port Authority or no, it actually went out of the George Washington bus terminal.
On the Manhattan side or New Jersey side?
On the Manhattan side, there's a bus terminal, the George Washington Bridge bus terminal, and that was buses that strictly went to New Jersey. I don't even think they went upstate New York. I think they went right to Jersey.
And is that how you learn the song George Washington is washing his Washington Bridge?
No, I don't think so. But you took a ride up to the 179th Street station. You got off. You walked a block to the terminal, and there you were.
You said jitney. Here's Tomas the cat to say good morning.
Hey, Tomas, what's happening? The star of this show. Is Tomas as disgusted as everybody else with this insanity?
He was so upset yesterday he took a nap on the couch. That's how things have gotten. That's how disturbed this cat is.
Well, you got me thinking now of Wildwood and Atlantic City, because this is the time of year when I was a kid that we'd head down.
Let's get out of here. Let's go to the Atlantic City.
And we go down to we go to Atlantic City. My friend Jimmy Calvi, parents used to have a bungalow down there that they rented in July and August. So, they'd go down there 4th of July, maybe a little before 4th of July. And then after 4th of July, we'd go down.
And can you take surfing lessons?
You don't surf there. It's not a surfing place. The Atlantic is not the greatest place in the world for surfing. But there are a lot of other great activities to
busy yourself with, and jitneys to entertain yourself from getting from here to there.
I'm going to see if I can punch up the Wildwood live cam so we can actually see what's going on.
See who's driving the jitney
in Wildwood right now. Always love the view our webcams. Okay. Let's see what we got here this morning. The roller coaster and the beach view.
Let's see that.
Here we go. Here's the Montgomery Avenue beach. Here's the live webcam. Let's see if I can now punch this up, share the screen. I'm actually getting good at this. View our webcams and share.
Attaboy, Van.
And that is,
It's a little cloudy today, but the sun's going to break through.
Looks a
We're
little
going
cloudy.
to have a Kirby Ferris said we're going to have a burn off by 1 o'clock. He always says that.
But that's, not a lot of people on the beach today. But that's, that's actually the way I kind of like it. When there's not a ton of people on the beach. This is the ocean view.
What's the name of that?
More people on the beach near the roller coaster, near the stuff that goes on there. You see the birds flying around. It's really, I Wildwood. Now this is, Atlantic City is much different. It's a lot more people. It's closer to New York. This is closer to Philadelphia. We used to go to Wildwood because most of the girls that went to Wildwood were from Philadelphia and Maryland.
That changes everything. That changes the odds.
Changes the odds. It's a whole complete, because the New York girls were wise to you.
Sure.
I mean, the only advantage to going to Atlantic City, you run into New York girls, and they were wise to you. And, if you ran into one you liked, well, and, you had a chance of running into them in New York. But if you went down to Wildwood and you hooked up with one, you didn't have much of a chance of running into her unless you wanted to go down to Philadelphia and meet them in Philly, or they'd come up to New York, and that was a rarity. But I'm looking for a shot at and they just don't seem to have a shot of the boardwalk. And that's, here's this kind of bogus shot, but I want the I want the real, I want that shot of the boardwalk. And you can see that there's people walking on it, but what is it? It's probably it looks like it's not a great day down there. So
it's pretty sunny. We can work on our tan. We'll worry about it later.
Yeah.
Put on your shorts and worry about lunch.
Let me see if I can get us back to.
That's how you know you're on vacation in Maui. Get up, put on your shorts, worry about lunch.
Yeah, I love. I used to love going to Wildwood, going to Ocean City, going to Atlantic City. I mean, Wildwood was my place.
That'll be one of the stops on the Mikey and Vinnie World Tour. We're also going to go to the Strait of Hormuz.
I remember seeing Gary Lewis and the Playboys in Wildwood. Got to
this Diamond Ring.
Yeah, they did. They were doing. They did a an oldies show.
I wanted to say to him, you got to take the accordion out of the band. You can use it in the studio, but don't have your picture taken with the guy with the accordion standing there with your band.
Yeah, I like the accordion. I always thought the
Cantino.
Yeah, I always thought the accordion was a good thing. Listen.
You know who liked the accordion was Fredo Corleone.
Yeah, Fredo liked the accordion, but you know who else likes the accordion is Bruce Springsteen. Several of his songs have parts for accordion, and Danny Federici used to play the accordion quite well, and so does Charlie Giordano.
Well, I'm sure that there are exceptions to be made.
Yeah, and who else? What other band?
Well, all the great Zydeco bands have accordions.
That's what I was thinking. Is
Zachary Richard, remember him?
Yeah. See if I can send this. It's never a dull moment here. You get one thing that you do right, and six other things go wrong.
Hey, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Well, Mikey, that's exactly what I was sending you. Let's see if I can get this thing to pop up here. All right, let's see. Stop it there, and let's hang on now.
Hang on, everybody.
Hang on, I
Kettle's
got you
girls from
somewhere.
Philadelphia will be right there.
It worked. It worked a minute ago. Let's see. Presenter invite. Video file. And we want this. And here we go.
Okay, we got a car.
Here
It's
we
like a
go. We got a
Mazda.
call. We got a Mazda. This is a sweet little Mazda. This is another edition of this Mazda. I've driven this car a couple of times in the last year in various configurations.
Hey, what's that art
And
museum?
that's the Cascadia Art Museum that is down. Of course, we are here in beautiful Edmonds, and this is the Edmonds, what we call the Edmonds Art District, and this is the CX50 Turbo, and this is one of those vehicles that as I said, I've driven a number of times, and I've enjoyed it. It's a solid car. Mazda is a great alternative to a Toyota. They've upped their game as far as their interior. The newer models have now. I don't know if this is true of the CX50, but most of the new Mazdas for 2026 and 27 are coming with a touch screen now.
And I see Vinny's got his espresso and his orange juice going in the front seat.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you got to get the caffeine going, and my bagel and steak and egg cheese sandwich, and a nice interior. You can see that it's not a cheap interior, not a lot of hard plastics, a lot of soft materials. You have three options. You have an off-road options. You have a normal, which is for everyday driving. And you have a sport option. And in a Mazda, that's a really good thing because the sport option, changes the configuration of the engine and transmission to give you a better response and a more sporty feel from the Sky Active engine. That is,
it's active with the Sky.
It's not a hybrid. It's just the Sky Active G system. They are good on gas. They give you a lot of power. And the DNA of Mazda is that it's always a sporty vehicle. That it is not your, it's if you want something that may be a little harder drive, which I mean a little more grippier on the road. There goes, as a matter of fact, the train that goes by that's headed toward Vancouver, the Amtrak Coast Starlight. That these vehicles from Mazda do that. They give you a better feel of the road than you might get from comparable vehicles. They are engineered, and Mazda has always been engineered to be a performance vehicle as opposed to a appliance. And they're just vehicles that really you enjoy driving. They are built for you to enjoy driving the vehicle.
What does it cost to fill the tank these days?
You don't even want to know. And it's only going to go up. I think you're north of $80 to fill the tank. I mean, that's almost anything, except if you go to a Freedom gas station. Back in New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
That's $95 flat fee.
Yeah, well, you know what? It should be if you wanted to do something, he would make it a $47 flat fee.
But
he's selling gas. This company that Donald Trump supposedly has nothing to do with selling gas for $3.47 a gallon. Now, I don't know if Trump has anything to do with that or not have anything to do with that, or it's just some guy that's running an oil company that's trying to,
It'll cost you $5.50 here in California, and Trump's got everything to do with it.
Well, yeah, that's it. But they're trying to, put Trump in a good light. And listen, if they want to give their gasoline away for $3.47 a gallon, I don't think people are going to argue with them. Although it's the same price that you're going to get it for at Costco or what is the other big JD's or whatever it is there, BJ's Club, or one of those other Walmart or some of the supermarket chains that have gas stations. It's about the same price you're going to get it for there right now. But that price isn't going to hold. And it just reminds me of many years ago.
Reminds me of the Strait of Hormuz.
There was this mobster, Franzese. I forget his first name. I know his father was Sonny Franzese. I can't remember his name. And he had a deal where he was just not paying the taxes on the gasoline he was selling at his gas stations.
Imagine that.
So his gas naturally was lower than everybody else's. So he would get the gas and they just wouldn't pay the taxes.
How long did that last?
And it lasted it was a few years before they caught up to him, but they made millions of dollars.
You could take those millions and pay his taxes.
He's selling gasoline at a buck, 75 cents cheaper than everybody else. And so people are lining up. They're buying the gas. People are calling them up. Can you deliver gas to my fleet? Can you deliver gas to my, taxi fleet, to this fleet, to that? Yeah.
We'll make a deal.
Well, why's your gas so much cheaper? I got a deal.
I know a guy.
I'm buying black market gas. So he's selling the gas, and by the time they caught up to him, I made millions. Millions. And they finally got caught, and I think he actually wound up going to jail over it. But he probably went to jail for 2 or 3 years.
And had to pay the taxes.
And made $20 or $30 million on it. So, as you know,
while he was in jail,
while
he was in jail, they have somebody slicing the garlic so you could see through it.
Probably. When I was growing up, the popular question always was, if you could, would you do a 2-year bit if you could come out at the other end with, a few $1 million? And I think almost the unanimous answer was yes. If I could go to jail for 2 years, and when I came out on the other end, I had a few $1 million waiting for me.
So the problem is your cellmate is Eric Trump.
Well, that turns out to be a problem. But most of the people in the neighborhood I grew up in would say, yeah, I do a bit for a few $1 million. Now, that's when a few $1 million was worth a few $1 million, when you really had something, when a house was $60,000 or $70,000.
Nobody believes that those were the real days, but those days existed. Those days were real.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people who said, yeah, I'd take a shot at that. Like winning a game show. Is it any worse than Survivor today, or going on 90 Day Fiance or something today?
Or
no.
Naked and Alone.
Yeah,
you made it on TV. What show am I on? Naked and Alone, the Alaska version. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be naked and alone in Alaska. Hey, the bear's going to kill you.
That's a bad place to be. I think that's a bad. I mean, the mosquitoes alone.
The mosquitoes are naked and they're alone, but they're looking for somebody, anybody.
How the hell do you deal with the mosquitoes if you go naked and alone, or naked and afraid?
You have to put bear tallow on it, but you got to catch a bear and kill it before you can put the tallow.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is you got to, if you're naked and afraid, and you don't have, I mean, you got to kill the bear with your bare hands. And last I looked, there's not many humans that have done that.
And you also have to pretend that the film crew is not there with you.
Now the STV version of that, they call it naked, alone, and two cans off. So they actually
Are they industrial size cans? Because those are going to run out pretty quick.
Spolpakia TV, their production crew.
I love that station.
The same people that put out 20 Day Fiance.
60 Fiance.
Say here, we'll give you a head start. We'll give you 2 cans of off. So that you don't get fiance on the first day. And then, then the killing the bear is up to you. But they don't mention that there hasn't been a bear sighting in Spolpakia
it's
in
been a
50
while.
years. There's no bears in Spolpakia. The bears have left.
There's no fiancés there either, for that matter.
Well, there's some fiancés there, but they're Spolpakian women.
They've been around.
Well, not that they've been around, but they are round. They're the kind of round, they're the Aunt Millie type. They're 4'2".
They say in the business,
4'2" by 3'5".
It's bigger than both of us.
They got the gray hair and a bun over here, and a black dress, and I mean, they look like your aunt that emigrated over from Italy, 100 years ago, and she's still every Sunday in the kitchen cooking. Well, the Spolpakia, that's where they get them from. It's like the Spolpakian casting.
Italian ants, wayward Italian ants become Spolpakians.
Well, they imported some. They were getting done with being Italians. It's getting tough to be here, so we'll just move over to Spolpakia.
You know what they can do? They can take the jitney and go find some more work somewhere else.
Yeah, well, that's it. It was one of those things that in the Second World War, they knew the Germans were coming to take over their country, so they took off. They didn't want to stick around because they didn't want to, they didn't foresee that the Allies were going to, come in and take care of business. They figured, well, this Mussolini's going to last a long time.
Yeah, that was a miscalculation.
So we're just going to, move over to, we're taking our tomatoes and our sauce with us.
You know what happened to Mussolini? He RUNNOFT.
Yeah, he did not do well. He did not look good hanging from his feet.
He looked a little tired. He looked weary.
And his girlfriend didn't look good either when they hung her.
She was never the best choice. That was a mistake on his part. He should have gotten a girl from Philadelphia.
Well, that was it. He never went to Atlantic to Wildwood. Had he gone to Wildwood,
I rest my case, and I catch the jitney.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good thing going in Italy, and then he had a hook up with the Putana.
But he did go to Ethiopia. That was a mistake.
And Hitler, and between the Putana and Hitler, it just brought him down. He had nothing left.
He had no part B.
He could have done that Il Duce thing clear into the 50s. But he just decided, these guys. And
he ran with a rough crowd.
Well, and you'd think that Trump would watch the movies. You'd think that he would go in there and say, show me a couple of these World War II movies. And let me see how this works out.
I love the way
he doesn't.
I love the way Adolf pushes around his Wehrmacht generals.
Well, and you see what they tried to do to him. They had it not been for the guy.
I think that was misunderstood. What they were doing was remodeling that bunker.
Well, if it wasn't for the guy moving the briefcase, that all would have been over a lot sooner.
Yep.
But you had the guys who were removing, moved the briefcase, and the thing went off behind a big piece of oak, and that's strong wood, and it didn't affect Hitler. He was out the same night greeting Mussolini.
Yeah, it's Philly cheesesteak.
And then he said, oh, you know what? 5,000 people.
Seems like a good number. Pick the first $5,000.
We don't have enough food to feed everybody, so we'll just kill 5,000.
Now there's more food for us. Let's eat.
Now we had enough turkey. We're good through the holidays
with dressing and with mashed potatoes.
And then we got to figure out how to get from January 1st to my birthday, and we'll be okay. But then a couple of days after his birthday, he calls Ava and says, "Let's get married. Where are we going for our honeymoon? Oblivion. You want to come?" Yeah, all right.
It was a typical.
He was not a good honeymoon. He didn't plan for honeymoons real well.
Stuff kept coming over the transom like reality.
Well, yeah. I mean, he just at some point he figured it was all over, and then you had he says, "Here, listen, you guys run it.
I'm out.
I'm gonna take a powder.
See you in Nuremberg."
But he was the same thing. He wouldn't listen to his generals. The generals tried to tell him. Well, actually, you know what? The generals didn't try to tell him, because when a general did try to tell him,
he became a Spolparkian.
He got the poison pill. Rommel tried to tell him, "Hey, boss, this isn't right. This isn't good. We're going to get, you're going to get us all killed."
Say that again. I couldn't quite hear you.
And he was like, "Yeah, I can't hear you." And then he sent a couple of guys to Rommel's house. And, Rommel was the guy. And he says, "Here, listen, you got a choice. You come back to the ministry here, and we're going to put you on trial. And you know how that goes. That's like going to traffic court at Left Rack City. You're not going to win.
No.
Or here's a little bit of cyanide. We're going to drive up the road. We'll get out of the car. In Houston. You take this, and we'll call it even."
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, and Rommel said, "Yeah, well, okay.
I see the forecast before me.
Yeah, I'll we'll take care of your wife and your kids." And
he didn't know exactly what they meant when they said that, but it turned out.
Well, actually, they did take. I mean, the wife never remarried, and the son wound up being a mayor of one of the big cities,
Stuttgart,
in Germany, for several years. So, I guess
the family name.
Yeah, I guess the family did okay, but Rommel didn't get. I mean, Rommel was was probably his smartest general, and probably the only one that wasn't addicted to drugs. So, there's a lesson there for Trump, but he's never going to take it.
Why don't we meet on Monday and decide about how this is going to go?
Well, we know how this one ends, and I'm starting to think that we know how the one that we're living through ends, which is not
so different.
Yeah, which is scaring me. That
does Trump have a bunker?
Well, yeah, he's got Mar-a-Lago.
Same thing.
I mean, listen, that Trump has a room somewhere where
it's in the Trump International Airport.
Yeah, and close the door, and nobody can get to him, because that's how much of a pussy he is. That if one of these other countries ever decide, well, we're going to attack America, he's going to be in a bathroom crapping his pants. I mean, he's already crapping his pants, and he doesn't even make it to the bathroom. The doddering fucking fool. Anyway, one of the good things, Mikey, is that if things work out the way they are thinking they'll work out, this afternoon sometime, the housing bill that Trump refused
Refuse
to
to
sign
sign will become law.
will become law. And that'll be a
And
major slap in the face.
I think there's some World Cup plays today too, isn't there?
I don't know.
I'm putting all my money on Norway.
Yeah, who's ever doing the Viking thing? That's who I want to win. I like the Viking cheer.
The row.
You know, that whole thing that they got going.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most innovative thing I've seen in a long time.
You got to pay attention to the guy with the drum, or you won't know when to row.
That's okay. I can do that. I think that's something that hopefully, if they start doing that at Safeco Field or T-Mobile Park, if they start doing that during the Mariner games, I got no problem with it. Better than the wave. Stop the wave, do the row.
I'm with you. And also remember, take the jitney. Save some time.
And a fond farewell before we leave to Bonnie Tyler.
She could sing, couldn't she?
Boy, she could rip it, man. That total eclipse of her collaborations with Jim Steinman.
Yep.
Total Eclipse of the Heart. What a beautiful song and what a voice.
You can't tune out of that song. It's satisfying every time you hear it.
Yeah, and It's a Heartache is the same way. It's just that It's a Heartache, man. That's just you hear that thing come on. A staple of 80s, 80 or 70s or 80s, I guess. 70s radio.
She had a smoky voice. It seemed like she had smoked a carton of Territon before the session.
Yeah, but boy, you just talk about a mesmerizing voice. Anyway, she passed away the other day.
At the age of 75.
And, God bless her. And she'll be singing with the angels. And believe you me, there's a lot of interesting angel voices to be singing with. All right, Mikey. See you on Monday. If the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise.
Take the jitney, save a nickel.
I'm going to jump on the jitney and get the hell out of here. Peace, love, and Atlantic City, baby.
What a wine. What a town.
What a town. See you, Mikey.
See you then.
All right. Thank you all for listening, too. You have a good